Hi, this is Desiree from Beyond Leadership Coaching. I'm helping people to lead people well. Today I want to talk about different leadership styles and specifically about the situational leadership model. You might have heard about that. It's like it's in a quadrant with 4 different leadership styles. It's about directive behavior and supportive behavior. I'm going to talk about the few styles in a moment, but long-standing leadership experts say that in order to be effective as a leader, you've got to be flexible and adapt to the different situations that you're facing. It is crucial to not be the same all the time. And I've experienced that for myself in my leadership. If I lead every single person the same way, I'm going to fail as a leader. And that's the truth right there. That's reality. Unfortunately, that is the way. We've all experienced leadership that has not worked with us, right? You might have experiences where you have seen someone lead in a certain way, and that's how you develop as a leader. And you might have a specific personality that is also determining your leadership style, right? So you might have sort of just by default been a very directing leader. And I have been that way. I have been a very directive and very task-focused leader. I have wanting to get things done, so I would ask them to do things and I'm explaining the way I want it to be done. That leaves very little space for people to develop and to actually, for me, to get to the point where I can actually delegate tasks, right? So I've had to learn over the years how to develop myself as a leader and to be more effective with my leadership style. I have to lead people depending on where they're at. And that's why I love the situational leadership model by Hersey and Blanchard. They have developed this leadership model that is all about that. It is about where the people are at, where the people you lead are at. It's not so much about where you're at, and that's what I want to talk about as well. It's important to know your default leadership style. It's important to know if you're more the authoritative or more the directive or the more participative kind of leader. You're more like affiliative, like you want to have the harmony and the peaceful team environment, or you might be more pace setting. You might be very, almost aggressive and setting certain standards. And it's important, and you've got to be honest with yourself of where you're at. But then the next step is actually to not so much worry about yourself, but to see where your people are at. And in the situational leadership model, it's about how committed your people are and how competent your people are. So obviously we want them to be very committed and very competent. But the reality is that is a journey. It's a pathway we can actually lead them to. And that's where the situational leadership is excellent to develop leaders or develop yourself as a leader and develop your people. So you get from directing them, where it's very little supportive or relational behavior. It's more about the task and about what needs to get done. Then you add some support. You add some relational communication and some conversations about the why, what we're doing. That is considered as coaching in that model. So it's where you come alongside them, where you still give them clear tasks and clear jobs to do, but you also help them to figure them out for themselves to a point. Yeah, and then if you move up in that quadrant, and I probably should have a visual there, but you can easily Google it. It's situational leadership model, and you'll find the quadrant that I was talking about. So the next step after coaching and directing is actually supporting. So that's very high relational effort, but little or less directive behavior. So that's where you give a task or let them actually figure out what to do. You give them a goal and they figure out how to get there. That is sort of the point of supporting, and you're still checking in on them and you're still trying to help them if they're stuck or anything. And then the next step on the ideal and the goal that we all should have as leaders is delegation. So that's when we're delegating. We're not telling them exactly what to do. or how to do it. It's more of you give them responsibility for something. And that's always a key as well. Don't give them tasks to do. Give responsibility and give them a defined area that they're in charge of, or a tasks, like it can be very simple. You can tell someone to clean the bathrooms. If you have a cleaning business, you clean the bathrooms or the toilets, but you also can say you're in charge of the excellence of those bathrooms, that they're, looking amazing afterwards. So that's a very simple example. So yeah, it's a full cycle really, where you can develop people. It's an excellent model, and I can only encourage you to look more into it, to find out where you're at, find out where your people at, and then find the ideal match of how you can develop them in the way that you can get to the point where you can actually delegate and you can actually free yourself up to do strategic thinking, or to do more working on your business instead of in your business, and all those kind of things. So there's so much you can do as a leader. You release yourself, not to do nothing, but to do the more important things, right? So yes, I hope this has helped, and I can only encourage you to have a look into this model. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please connect with me on my website or Facebook or LinkedIn profiles. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave me a comment. I love connecting with people, and I'm there to help. I'm there to coach you to become the leader that you want to become. So if you want to sign up to my newsletter as well, please go ahead and do so on my website. I also offer, and here it comes, a 45-minute strategy session. If you want to really have an idea of what we could do, you and I, on your journey to become the leader that you want to become. All right, you have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.